Pulse oximeters. I started with one and now I'm up to 3. I did a lot of analysis on these things over the last couple months, trying to figure out how they relate to COVID. Can I use them for exercise? And you know what? Results were pretty amazing. So let's go to a top-down shot and I'll show you more of the details on all 3 of these guys. This is an honest review. I paid for all of these using my own money. I got them on sale somewhere between $15 and $19 a piece. But if there's any specific one that you like better than the others, or you want to look at all 3 of them, all that information will be down below. I'm always doing research on how to get better performance out of my exercising, tracking my health, trying to optimize everything so that I have the greatest chance to have the greatest quality of life for the longest period of time. And all of them are pretty much the same. They have some sort of little finger area here, and I don't know if you can see the sensor, but there's a sensor inside there. Right there is the sensor. There's also one right here. I'm pretty sure they all come from similar factories and they probably have very similar analysis chips and systems. So it's a little bit of just gitchiness on the outside. So here you got this inspiration of a cyclist trying to optimize his or her performance. Low power consumption, easy to operate, high accuracy, small in size. They all weigh a couple ounces, so that's not really a big criteria. Would I want to do that on a bike? Well, unless I had it actually strapped to the handlebars, probably not. All of them have some sort of how to use. Little card, cheat sheet shows you how to optimize it. I found no matter which finger you use and no matter which hand, these 3 fingers work best. Pinkies and thumbs, not so much. They all use AAA batteries, just different configurations. All 3 had straps. I guess you could wear around your neck. This one and this one came with bags. So that's nice, you can kind of protect it that way. This is a 1-inch square by 1-inch square, so a little over 2 inches, probably 2 1/4 on each one of these. Maybe 1.5 inches, 1 1/4 on the side, or on this edge, just over 1 inch, 1 1/4 maybe on each one of those. The reason why I got this one is because it connects to a smartphone. This is not even an active smartphone. We have a couple of these lying around. We like to use them for things like this where you can Bluetooth in. Download the app using your local internet, get the app on there, and we can just kind of dedicate this guy to this and a couple other pieces of technology. It's readily available just to plug in. These 2 sensors are just instantaneous. Pull your finger out, you lose all the information. So even though this guy didn't have one of these, I thought it was interesting to try to work on one that has some sort of connection and that you can record the information. Just guessing here, you can put all that information and just establish a profile. So you got to make sure Bluetooth is connected, and you go through that initial screen, set everything out. It says blood, oxygen, place finger and oximeter. And there you get the same kind of reading, although a little bit more detailed. That's your pulse rate, BPM, and PI. Start to measure. So if for some reason you're having difficulty reading this display here, you can see it right there. Chart details, you can see that these are different times that I've done it. The recording, right? SPO2, all this stuff, the waveform for the SPO2, and then you can just save it. And boom. So I kind of like that feature a lot, actually. After testing these units out for a couple months now, alternating the fingers, testing the thumb and the pinky, using the other hand. I actually even put it up on my toes to see if that would make any difference. Ultimately, it really doesn't matter which finger you put these on. These 3 fingers seem to give you fairly reasonable ratings, and it doesn't really matter much between the fingers as far as what kind of response you get in on any of these things. I did want to show you different situations. Over the last couple days, I've actually recorded events. Waking up towards the end of the day, after a heavy meal, after a 25-minute intense workout, and then after a more prolonged workout, digging a ditch behind my fence line. So I'll show you all those videos now so you can get a good perspective. I'm kind of surprised with some of the results. And then we'll come back and wrap all this up. At any given time, I'm doing a lot of testing. I'm doing a lot of development of projects. I'm working on a whole bunch of stuff. I was digging a ditch behind my fence. I just figured I'd put these guys on to see how I'm doing. 20 minutes later, my SPO2 is pretty good. Anywhere from 97 to 98. But the thing I thought was most interesting is my pulse rate. 20 minutes later, after digging a ditch behind my fence, all the way probably, I would say, 50, 60 yards, 2.5 hours worth of work, and my pulse rate is across the board anywhere from 113 to 114. Crazy, because I'm not breathing hard, I don't feel tired, I'm rehydrating, I'm drinking some water, getting something to eat, but amazing. If for no other reason you get some of these guys, it's to make sure that you're aware of what your pulse rate is after a fairly aggressive workout. Just got out of bed, pretty much half awake. Just came over here, put the camera on, plug these guys in. Here's the readings. Taking the data before I get on the rowing machine, I'm going to do 5,000 meters, about 25 minutes of intense rowing machine workout, and we'll see how it compares to these numbers right here. Just finished up 25 minutes on a rowing machine, pretty aggressive 5K. All the monitors are pretty much saying the same thing, 97 on the SPO2 and 95 on the pulse rate beats per minute. I'm going to come in here at 5 minutes after now and 10 minutes after now to see how long it takes me to recover from this. Okay, here's the readings. 5 minutes out, not much of a change. Pulse rates come down a little bit. 10 minutes after exercise, not much different from the last report, although my SPO2 is going back up again. I found every time I've used these things that you can't go with the initial reading. You have to kind of let it settle into a mode, maybe a minute or so, before you can really get the reading that I think is the most accurate. So I'm at 20 minutes now. As far as my condition now, I feel fine. I'm not sweating anymore. I'm not breathing heavy. Well, I stopped breathing heavy like a couple minutes after the exercise. So this is short aerobic activity. 2 o'clock in the afternoon, but this is a typical pulse for me, somewhere between 59 and 60. So 1 beat per second. My SPO2 is 99, 98, which is pretty much 100 because these guys don't go up to 100. They only have 2 digits. And my PI is 1.4 or 1.6. So 1.6 over here, 1.5 over here. I had a really, really big meal. Lots of carbs, and I'm not used to eating a lot of carbs lately. And you can see what's happening here. My SPO2 is way down. It was 99 before the meal. Now look at it. My heart rate is up in the 80s. My PI is 8.1 over there, and it's hard to read over here. It looks like 10.6, 9.2. Just saps all your energy, digesting all those calories. It's the end of the day, 11 o'clock at night, local time. Getting ready to go to sleep. I just figured I would take more readings. After using these sensors for a while and recording the videos you just saw, there's a couple observations I made that were kind of surprising to me. First of all, eating a heavy meal is kind of like a workout for your body. And in both cases, you may not feel that your heart rate is up, but it is. And an extended period of time afterwards. Also surprising. Your heart rate fluctuates throughout the day. I thought my heart rate would be the lowest in the morning as soon as I roll out of bed. But it turns out that that's not the case. It kind of settled in to my day. Then my heart rate kind of goes down to where it usually is most of the day, somewhere between 60 and 65. You can set all of these guys so that when the pulse rate gets to a certain level or the SPO2 gets to a certain level, it will give you a nice little ring. There's all sorts of different things, but they're all pretty much the same. Again, these guys come with nice little bags you can put them in to protect them. But this guy comes with an app. So of all three, which do I like the most? Well, I like the display on this. The PI, though, I'm not so sure about. I think the PI might be off. That seems a little high. But I do like having the app feature so I can record these events. Because once you take your fingers out, the data is lost. You're not going to be able to retain that. And once you take your finger out of here, if you're not connected to the app, the data is lost. But there's a certain advantage to using one that has an app associated with it so that you can track your progress one way or the other over a long period of time and establish some sort of rhythm. And then as you work out more or change your diet, you'll notice patterns that will form. And that will all be beneficial to not only you, but if you end up having some sort of medical situation, it's probably good to show the folks when you check in somewhere. Thumbs up and comments always appreciated. Thanks for watching. If you're interested in tech reviews, sports gear reviews, designs of all kinds, making and breaking things, I do costumes, cosplay, and props. Check out my channel and please subscribe because you never know what kind of tech you're gonna see.